There's something interesting about this stretch of Alberta. An explorer came through here in the 1850s, looked around and basically said this land would never be good for farming. Too dry, too harsh, and not worth settling. Yet, people came anyway. They built the town and they made it work. So what changed? Hello and welcome to the video. If this is your first time here, my name is Mike. If you've been here before, my name is still Mike, but you would have known that already. That explorer was John Palliser, and his report shaped how people thought about the prairies for decades. He called this region an arid desert, unsuitable for crops. But by the early 1900s, something shifted. The government started advertising the West as the last best West, and when news of a railway arrived, people started to believe it could be done. In 1908, a man named Andrew Oyen walked away from Spokane, Washington to this district and claimed a homestead. He couldn't survive the winter in just a tent, so he worked his way west, found employment elsewhere. When he came back in the spring of 1909, he saw something that must have felt like a good sign. Smoke rising from a hillside. Settler number 2 had arrived. By 1911, a man called Billy Bishop had set up a stopping place, a small store and a blacksmith shop he called Bishopburg. But here's the thing, the railway didn't buy Bishop's land, it bought Andrew Oyen's homestead instead. The railway arrived in the fall of 1912, and on January 17, 1913, the town incorporated as a village. That same year, they changed the name from Bishopburg to Oyen, to honor the man who sold his land to make the town site possible. If you walk around town today, you can see where the history lives. Down at the Oyen Crossroads Museum, they've preserved pieces of the early settlement. A 1917 farmhouse from Sibbald, a Ukrainian Catholic church built in 1914, a schoolhouse, a blacksmith shop from 1935, and even a railway cooking car from the 20s. These aren't replicas. They're the real buildings people used. The answer to the mystery is this. Palliser wasn't entirely wrong about the climate. Oyen became the service center for a large but sparsely populated dryland farming area. This has always been tough country for farming, but the railway changed everything. It gave settlers a way to get their grain to market, and gave the town a reason to exist. Andrew Oyen's decision to sell his homestead and the railway's decision to build there instead of somewhere else created the anchor that held. The deeper revelation is quieter than that though. Palliser looked at this land and saw what it couldn't do, but the settlers who came here, they looked at what it could do. And today the surrounding area is a hub for wheat, barley, canola crops, and beef farming, reflecting the town's agricultural roots. They were betting against expert opinion, but they were betting on something real. The possibility that hard work and the right infrastructure could make the improbable possible. Oyen today is small. The population hovers around 900 people. The town has a hospital, schools, a golf course, and an arena. It exists because people decided to believe something that an 1850s explorer said was impossible. The railway made that belief practical. And that's what Oyen is. Practical hope, built on a homestead sold at the right time to the right buyer, in a place where dryland farming still happens, still matters, and still shapes who comes through and who stays. So if you enjoyed this little journey, give that like button a tap. It's free and oddly satisfying. If you haven't subscribed yet, just know I share a new small town story every week, weather permitting of course. Feel free to pass this along to your aunt, your neighbor, or that one friend who still thinks Alberta ends at Calgary. They need this more than they know. And if you'd like to chip in and keep the drone batteries charged and the gas tank filled, there's a Ko-fi link in the description. And you'll find Gradient Imaging on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok because apparently I'm not busy enough. But until next week, drive safe, wave at strangers, and take the scenic route.